So what we're here to do this weekend is to bring our implementation partners that are help leading different policy areas into the fold and to be into community with our families and providers that are part of our steering committee. We really worked hard to create a space at our steering committee that everybody does have a voice and that everybody is a leader, and there are opportunities to step up and step back. But at the end of the day, we are a unit together. So when you bring in implementation partners that are from different organizations that may have not been part of our group or may have, it's a different conversation. And if those implementation partner organizations have not been part of our community, they actually needed to be baptized in the community, because this is sacred. This is special, and you don't feel it until you're in community together in person. So really the beginning started with the Louisiana Policy Institute for Children going through their own strategic plan. And my board, I'm really grateful for, because they heard me enough say, if we don't have healthy mamas, we don't have healthy babies. And if we don't have healthy babies, how can we educate them? So part of our strategic plan was, who's going to do this work around systems thinking if we don't? And so my board chair at the time looked at me and said, this is a lot of work. Are you willing to do it? And I was like, if we don't do it, who? So our board said yes. And then we had 3 successive grants fall into place. And so as we came together for these grants, Rochelle and I were already starting to dream and scheme. And so that's what we did. And we were like, all these 3 grants, we're gonna put them together. We've got to come up with a name. We have to have a steering committee. And with the steering committee, it was like, well, we want to make sure that we have the majority of people would be parents, families, and providers. And I remember saying to her, like, what's the percentage? And she was like, 50%. And I was like, yeah, but if you're only one of something, do you really have power? And she was like, okay, 55. And I was like, all right. She's like, you didn't blink. And I was like, no, I mean, if we're going to live out our values. So that's how we got to a steering committee made up at any point of 55% of families and providers that are using and a part of the system. So that led us into strategic planning and that process in January 22. Well, what we know is that no one organization can do this work, and no one human can do this work. And so it is really an amalgamation of an opportunity for parents, providers, and other people that are really expert in their policy area to come together to work together. And it's part of our, how we operate as a coalition. We have agreements that we all agree on. One of them is, sometimes you have to step up and sometimes you have to step back. And so Rochelle and I do that dance often with each other and with other leaders, and always with our families and providers, that there many times, often, they need to be the front. And we just need to say, we got your back. And so what Go Far is at the end of the day is that connective tissue that connects programming and organizations and people together. Because if you look at our 5 areas of Go Far, there are people throughout the state that have been doing this work for so long. And all we're saying is, let us be supportive. How can we amplify the work that you're doing? And how do we do that in a meaningful way and give you the kudos and the credit? Because fundamentally, what we think and what we know to be true is that when you put children and families as your North Star and your end goal, all the other stuff falls in line. And so we've had that alignment with the organizations that have joined Go Far as implementation partners. Well, I mean, I think that the quality of the people is that they're all magic. And people think magic is easy. Magic isn't easy. It's really hard, and then it looks easy. And so the people that are part of our steering committee are experts at being a parent. They're also experts in their field that they work in. They're also experts in being community advocates and activists. They are the very people that need to lead the change. And they said yes to this 2 years ago and have stuck with us the whole way. And so if I think about the quality of people, we have the best of Louisiana reflected in our steering committee.